United States Navy SEALs are some of the nation's most elite warriors. They're also among the most secretive. But for the first time, some SEALs are breaking their code of secrecy to speak publicly about drug abuse in the ranks. Some inside the community say the growing problem puts the entire force at risk. David Martin has been investigating and is at the Pentagon. David, good morning.
Good morning. Navy SEALs have become the rock stars of the American military, famous for everything from their notoriously tough training to high-risk missions like the Bin Laden raid. But inside the SEAL teams, they are fighting a different kind of enemy.
I feel like I'm watching our foundation, our culture, erode in front of my eyes.
That's Captain Jamie Sands, commander of SEAL teams based on the East Coast, talking to his men last December.
No more drugs. No more.
People that we know of, that we hear about, have tested positive for cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, marijuana, ecstasy. That's a problem.
3 Navy SEALs, 1 active duty, 2 retired, agreed to talk to us on camera if we disguised their faces and substituted their voices to protect them from retribution.
How prevalent is drug abuse in the SEAL teams?
It's growing. The drug use, it's growing.
During the 3 months he had been in charge, Sands kicked 5 men off the SEAL teams for using drugs. To deal with the problem, he halted training and ordered a safety stand-down. All 900 SEALs under his command were required to attend this meeting or watch it online.
But I am angry. I feel betrayed. How do you do that to us? How do you decide that it's okay for you to do drugs?
Before Sands spoke, his chief of staff had rattled off what he called a staggering number of drug cases, which he said showed that the Navy's special operators had a higher incidence of drug use than the rest of the fleet. Why would SEALs, whose lives depend on their physical skills, take drugs?
They think it's okay because they've seen other people do it. They think their teammates won't turn them in. They think it's kind of a cool thing to do, but they think it's okay.
According to these 3, SEALs who take drugs don't have to worry about their teammates turning them in.
You stand up for what's right and you get blackballed or driven out.
It's a career killer.
And drugs aren't the only problem, according to interviews, emails, and text messages from 8 current and former SEALs. There's been a corruption within the teams, one of them wrote. Another said, the death of our quiet professionalism continues to erode at our ethos and endangers our teammates overseas, not to mention our families at home.
The community has got to stop seeking the limelight and exposing what they do, or it continues to put people in danger.
They accused fellow SEALs of profiteering, or as they called it, selling the Trident, a reference to the insignia they earn after making it through basic training.
You don't come out of this, I think, the same.
Fitness routines based on SEAL training have become a cottage industry, as have books by former SEALs.
They're just guys that are going in to try and sell the brand, to sell that Trident on their chest, to make a buck from it. And frankly, if that's all they were doing, so what? But the thing they're selling is information.
These men say movies like Zero Dark 30 and Captain Phillips are all too accurate in showing the way SEALs operate.
Sir, what's the status on those boats?
One movie, Act of Valor, included active duty SEALs in the cast.
They're coming in hot.
They get all of these sometimes ex-SEALs or active duty SEALs to help make sure it looks as realistic as possible in the process, you know? Unknowingly or knowingly, they're giving away our tactics and procedures.
As long ago as 2012, 7 Navy SEALs were disciplined for having worked as paid consultants on the video game Medal of Honor Warfighter.
Video games, do they really give away real tactics?
How we move and, you know, they were pretty accurate for a lot of different things, you know. So yeah, I would say some of them they do.
Do you ever have to change the way you operate because something's been made public?
Yeah.
It all adds up to a betrayal of the SEAL's own code of conduct.
When I joined the Navy, the brochure said quiet professionals, and that's what I signed up for. But that's not what it is today.
So is fame ruining the SEALs?
I believe that has a lot to do with it.
In response to our story, the Naval Special Warfare Command said we had ignored data which shows their rate of testing positive for drugs is lower than the rest of the Navy. But at that meeting we showed you, the SEAL Chief of Staff used significantly higher numbers, saying there had been 135 drug cases in the past 2 years. He also said that was higher than the rest of the navies. There is a video of that speech, but the Navy refused to release it to us. Alex?
David, thanks. That's a fascinating and distressing picture of what's happening in
the interesting thing is that many of these SEALs do not go through annual drug testing because they're deployed. And now the commander has said there is going to be drug testing while they're home and while they're deployed. So the message is clear: cut it out, zero tolerance.
What surprises me, I mean, drugs influence and affect so many different sectors of our society, but that's the one place you thought it would not have impact.
That's true.
Indeed.